And for more on the migrant children separation issue, we're joined now by Rahul Manchanda. He is the founder and chief counsel of an immigration law firm in New York. Rahul, you know, the stories of migrants and separated children really haven't made many U.S. headlines in several months, but what is the latest and what has been happening amid the pandemic and everything else that's been going on in this country?
Well, thank you for that question. It's an absolute, obviously horrific saga that's been going on in this country for quite a while, and it ebbs and flows with every new administration that comes in. You know, some of them really drastically increasing the pain and the carnage, and some of them trying to close it. The seminal case here is one called Flores, and that's a federal case that's sort of been kicked back and forth. There's about 3 different phases of that case, Flores, 1, 2, and 3, and it's sort of been attenuated and grown and expanded and shrunk over the, ironically enough, a long time. There's some separation of children, but this stuff has also been going on since the genesis of this is almost in 1985. If you think about it, that's when the legacy immigration service called the INS was first sued for separating children from their parents. The INS is obviously now called the USCIS, and several changes later, including the introduction of the Department of Homeland Security, ICE, Immigration Customs Enforcement. But I think whenever there's a new political regime in place, and depending on their sort of platform and when they want to get elected, it sort of reflects entirely on the attention that is given to this extremely tragic, wrenching problem that's facing the United States, and really could threaten its entire soul.
Well, Rahul, I want to ask you about some news that we got a few hours ago. Acting Chief of Homeland Security Chad Wolf resigned his post a few hours ago. We are in the middle of a changeover in government, so I want to get your reaction to that. And also, in a second part, get your thoughts on the incoming Biden administration and any changes that we could expect to see.
Well, sure. With regards to DHS Acting Secretary Chad Wolf, I guess it's sort of things are happening very, very quickly. A lot of people are leaving the White House in the last few weeks of the administration. I believe that President Donald Trump had withdrawn the nomination of Chad Wolf a few days ago, which is sort of, kind of a moot issue because there's only a week or 2 left. But Chad Wolf's, a confirmation by the Senate has been hanging there for almost a year or 2. So he's been on the job for 14 months, but never really got confirmed. And a lot of people had sort of thought of him as a lightning rod for some of the policies and his predecessor as well. So that's what's happening with Mr. Wolf, who actually now has decided to leave officially today, and that's something that's happened as well. In terms of the Biden administration, obviously that goes along with the population and the electorate and the constituency of Biden, which is heavily Democrat, heavily minority, heavily Latino, and and heavily immigration rights, not just for the immigrants themselves that are being forced to contend with the system, but also immigration lawyers and civil rights lawyers who tend to be more on the defense side of these issues and are on a lot of the humanitarian aspects, because we see the carnage on the ground. We see the jail cells. We see the children crying. We see the people dying. We see people swimming across the Rio Grande. We see people risking their lives and are in the trenches, as opposed to, not seeing it from like a numerical perspective about who's draining healthcare or using healthcare or using welfare programs. So it's more of a humanitarian issue, and I think it strikes right at the heart of the United States. I think Joe Biden has made some promises that he intends to pass sweeping immigration legislation within the first 100 days. But that's a promise that many presidents have made and many administrations, but it's not so easy to fix. Usually what you see is during a conservative administration. Yes.
I'm so sorry. We are out of time, but you know what? We will check back in with you within the first 100 days to get your update on what you think is happening